Yeah, so, after sex, money, and kids, phones are the number 4 most common reason why couples fight. How about no phones at meal times, or especially no phones at date night? Another idea could be no phones first thing in the morning or right before bed. Put your phones on airplane mode after 8 p.m. Just take away your access to be able to, get on the internet or anything like that. Specific times without phones or screens. So this could be like some sort of ritualized activity. So maybe you guys always take the dogs on a walk together, or you always sit on the porch and have your morning coffee. Hello and welcome to the Pillow Talks podcast. We're your hosts, Vanessa
and Xander Marin.
I'm a sex therapist with over 20 years of experience.
And I'm just a regular dude. We share the ups and downs in our relationship while giving you step-by-step techniques for improving yours.
Make sure you subscribe for your weekly double date full of totally doable sex tips, practical relationship advice, hilarious and honest stories of what really goes on behind closed bedroom doors, and so much more. It's the sex education you wish you'd had. What if your phone, TV, or laptop is the biggest barrier to intimacy in your relationship?
Ooh, tough question.
Well, if it is, you're definitely not alone. Phones in particular are such a big issue in so many relationships, and we are not immune from that. We have our own bad phone behaviors, both of us separately. We have had plenty of arguments about phone usage as a couple. So for this episode, we decided to do something that we've never done before, a tech detox. And we came up with a little rule that we think might be a bit controversial, but we want you to hear us out on this one. It's called no screens before sex.
Yeah, not only did we do a tech detox, we did a sexy tech detox. Because why not? Detox doesn't really sound fun.
No.
Right? Like juice detox, tech detox, you do something because it's like, oh, I need to get something bad out of my system, right? We were like, okay, well, given that sex is the topic, sex and relationships is the topic we talk about, why do we want to impose pain on our relationship or pain on our sex life while doing something that is not going to feel good? So why don't we make it feel good by making it sexy?
Okay, so let's talk about what an issue phones are. I mean, I don't think this will be a surprise to many people that it's such a problem in relationships, but we've got some stats for you. The average American checks their cell phone every 6 minutes.
That's both wild and totally believable.
Yeah. We also polled our Instagram community and we asked, have you and your partner ever argued about phone usage? And we had 49% of people said that yes, they do argue about it. 37% have said we've talked about it, but it's not been an argument. And 13% of people who are liars said it's never been an issue.
Wow, biased much.
13% of people who don't have cell phones said it's never been an issue. Honestly, that seems crazy to me. I don't believe that 13% of people have never had one single argument about cell phone usage.
I bet 13% of people have their head buried in the sand, or perhaps it is the older segment of our audience who doesn't really doesn't really use the smart features of a smartphone. So
I can see that.
Okay,
All right, fine, fair. 13% of people are not liars. Yeah, so, after sex, money, and kids, phones are the number 4 most common reason why couples fight. And obviously, it doesn't feel good in the moment to be arguing about your phone usage with each other, but it also really starts to build up a lot of resentment over time because it leaves you feeling like you're second best. Like your partner's phone, a piece of plastic, a tiny little hunk of metal is more important to them than you are.
Yeah, that's so real. I honestly think even just earlier today, I remember, I have this kind of flash of a memory of you were, the way that my perception of it was I'd asked you oh, hey, could you blah, blah, blah. I think I was in the shower. It's oh, could you grab this or could you grab me something? And then I noticed, oh, she's looking at her phone. And I like didn't hear an acknowledgement of what I had said immediately. And I'm like, I know that you heard me because I'm right here. And then you have just this like split second calculation in your head of like, is she gonna look up? Is she gonna like, I'm holding this thing. I need her to grab this thing. It's like, you know, it was like the trash of your empty bottle of face wash or something. Where I was like trying to give it to you.
I couldn't even remember.
And I'm like,
what moment is he talking about?
I'm like wet. I'm holding like, hey, could you get this out of the shower, please? And yeah, it's a weird moment in your head where you're like, hey, this is dumb. Like whatever is on there is going to be there in another second after she just grabs this thing. But yeah, when those things happen over and over, it's easy to build up like they just don't care about me.
Yeah.
Or they care more about this thing. And it's sort of like a death by a thousand cuts.
Absolutely. And I think what's so dangerous about our phones is that we are very unaware of what we're actually doing with our phones and how bad we are with them. And also, we are so quick to justify our own usage, but then get upset at our partner.
Yeah.
So I can think back to that moment and think, oh, I was in the middle of something and you asked me to do something while I was already doing something, and I can justify it. It wasn't that big of a deal, or it took me literally half a second to grab the thing from you. But then when you do it to me, I feel really frustrated. Like, why is he not paying attention to me? Why do I have to work so hard to catch his attention? What could he possibly be looking at his phone that's so important? And, you know, even when we're not trying to get our partner's attention, but we see them, like I can get lost in my phone watching reels and like scroll.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any sort of problem with, I mean, I know there's a problem, but in the moment, I can just get lost in it and whatever. Hey, it's 5 minutes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because no one's watching. When no one's watching you, it's not a problem.
Yes.
It's like if a tree falls in the middle of the forest, no one is hearing it. That's like a weird situation where you're like, well, I'm here, but I'm not here observing myself.
But when I watch you spend 5 minutes scrolling through Instagram, watching reels, I'm like, ugh, can't you find something better to do with your time?
What a waste of time.
What are you doing? You're just getting sucked into Instagram like a dummy.
We are judgmental creatures, humans.
We're super judgmental, and we don't realize we're doing the exact same things. So, yeah, I mean, tech usage is something that we both try to be conscious of. We totally understand how easy it is to get sucked in. Our phones are literally designed to be addicting and to get us to keep using them over and over and over again.
I mean, what other substance do you use every 6 minutes? Getting really dark with it.
Yeah.
If you're talking about any other thing that humans tend to get addicted to, think of the most insidious drug that you could be addicted to. Yeah. Almost nobody is using it every 6 minutes.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. So both of us try to be conscious of it, and we'll each, in different times and different ways, try to ease up. And I will say overall, I think you and I have pretty healthy relationships with our phones. We definitely have the moments where we get sucked in and, whoa, where did that last 10 minutes just go? But overall, it's not a huge source of conflict for us. So I think we do put a good effort into trying to be conscious of it. But lately, I had been noticing like, oh man, I'm really using my phone a lot more than I want to be. And I think a lot of it did start with my dad getting sick. I kind of gave myself a bit more permission to like, hey, it's okay. Sometimes I just need to zone out. I've got so much heavy stuff going on in my life right now. Like, it's good to laugh. It's good to like look at these cute and silly Instagram accounts that I follow.
It's good to escape.
Yeah. So I was giving
myself
myself
almost never. I wanted to say it that way because it's like when you actually come out and say it that way, you're like in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I do want a little escapism, but then it's like, do I really want to die on the hill of it's good to escape?
Yeah.
It's not really like that. Like you are, when you put it that way, it's like very active. Like, oh, I am trying to escape from something. So why don't I try to face whatever that thing is?
Yeah. So we also asked our Instagram community, and by the way, if you're not over there, get your butt over there. We're at Vanessa and Xander on Instagram and TikTok. So we asked, what's the worst impact of your partner's phone usage, the biggest annoyance, or the most inappropriate time that they're on their phone? We just wanted to collect like bad behaviors. So we got a great list. These are some of the
Give us your bad behaviors.
common responses. Scrolling while eating dinner.
Oof.
Very popular. And even scrolling during date night. Oh, it's so bad. I think actually this one was the most popular. Time in the bathroom scrolling.
But my question here is, they're not meaning like me scrolling in the bathroom is problematic. It's my partner scrolling in the bathroom that's problematic.
I think there's a real gender breakdown with this one. I think men have a tendency to spend a lot longer in the bathroom on their phones than women do.
Male vacation. daily or twice daily vacation.
Another person said, always picks up their phone mid-conversation, even serious conversations. It feels like they're saying, I don't care about what you're saying.
Yeah, I think this is something that I wouldn't say we struggle with this now, but I do have a memory of early on in the smartphone era. I think this was something that happened with us a lot. And I remember this. That's a really painful one where you're like, hey, this is serious. Like, we're talking about something serious. Like, what could possibly be more serious?
The ding on my phone. It's dinging. Something's happening there. I need to check it immediately. I mean, we're literally trained we hear those little notification dings and we want to look right away. I think some of us just, we do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really painful when you're trying to connect with your partner and they're paying more attention to their phone. We also got on the phone instead of watching the baby, or on the phone instead of hanging out with the kids. Totally disengages around my family by scrolling. That's something that I've
done that before.
Yeah, I've been frustrated with you for we'll be at family dinner night and everybody's at the table having conversation. You were doing it last night. You were on your phone during family dinner night.
Yes, I was. We were also talking about, I could get into the excuse.
Yeah.
But I was.
Another person said,
I was working on something for us in our home.
Yes. And then he lingered a little bit longer. That's just another thing about phones is that oftentimes we start using it for a good reason. Oh, I have to make this appointment, or I have to find this number or whatever. And then we get sucked into I'll just watch a quick little Instagram reel, or, I got a notification of something. So it's just so easy to get sucked in. We also heard, my partner says we don't have enough time for intimacy, but they always have time to mindlessly scroll.
Interesting, huh?
That's a huge one. I would venture to say the vast majority of couples say not having enough time is one of the main reasons why they don't have more sex. And yet...
Well, but even before you do that, I never hear anyone say, I never have any time to scroll my phone.
Yeah.
That's no one's complaint in life is, God, I just wish I had more time to mindlessly scroll.
Okay.
Said nobody ever.
I know. I have another stat for you, though. And this actually, I was like, okay, hold on. I'll just say, how many hours a day do you think the average American spends on their phone?
A lot. Many hours.
Just take a guess at how many hours.
6.
Okay, it's 5.5. Very good guess. But I was like, 5.5, that doesn't sound like very much. I think people spend even more. But even if it's 5.5 hours a day, you have 5.5 hours a day to be on your phone. And yes, some of that might be for work. It might be for adult stuff that needs to be taken care of. I'm not saying that's 5.5 hours a day on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm guessing it also may be listening to a podcast or something. Maybe you're passively using the phone. That's the one thing. Because 6 hours is... a lot. That's close.
If you have 5.5 hours a day to be on your phone, you have enough time to have sex with your partner.
You have a lot. You have more than enough. You have time for sex with your partner, and you have time for a lot of other stuff.
And our last response was, my partner gets on the phone immediately after sex, which
boner killer.
Really tough. Well, you might not have a boner anymore.
If the refractory period didn't get you, that one will.
Okay, actually, I just looked this up because I wanted to know. And I found a different website. This website says the average American spends 7 hours and 3 minutes per day on their phone. So slightly different stat from what I pulled earlier. And globally, 6.5 hours a day. And then they did this breakdown of what is the daily time spent on, they did it for video games and for social media.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
This is insane. In the U.S., daily time on average, every day, the average person, and I play 0 video games
Yeah,
on my phone.
me too. So we are bringing these averages
We're bringing
down.
these averages way down.
We're helping somebody out here who spends like 12 hours a day playing video games on their phone.
An hour and a half on video games.
Okay.
2 hours and 14 minutes on social media.
Wow. Well, I mean, our usage is going to skew the social media because like we are on social media for work.
For our work, yeah.
For a good portion of the day. But
that's almost 4 hours a day of mindless things. So if you have 4 hours a day to play video games or be on social media, you have time.
Yeah, you're struggling to make time for intimacy, man. Cut the video games, cut the social media, or reprioritize.
Remember that doctor's appointment you were supposed to make a while ago? That dentist appointment for your biannual cleaning, overdue annual checkup that's been 3 years in the making, or the dermatologist appointment for that rash that has been looking a little off? Why not book it today with ZocDoc? ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. They seriously make the process so easy. There are over 100,000 doctors. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, a good fit for any need you have, and are highly rated. Plus, you can book online, no having to call, wait on hold, anything like that. Fortunately, Xander and I have not had to see a doctor anytime recently, but the next time we do, we will definitely be turning to ZocDoc. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/pillow to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/pillow. ZocDoc.com/pillow. Just yesterday, I was listening to a podcast where someone was talking about grinding their teeth, and I was thinking to myself, Remy, you have to check out Remy. Approximately 30% of adults grind or clench their teeth at night.
Including me.
And this can lead to some really serious issues. But Remy's custom night guards are clinically tested to prevent teeth grinding, reduce jaw tension and facial muscle strain, and improve sleep quality. But Remy costs you 80% less than what you'd get at the dentist, and it's so much more convenient. You get your impression kit delivered straight to your door, very easy to follow instructions, and they craft and ship your custom fit night guard straight back to you. Xander and I are both still on our dental journeys, but we are going to be using Remy as soon as we can. And for the holiday season, Remy is gifting their customers with their 2-in-1 foam that both cleans your night guard and whitens your teeth for free when you order a night guard between now and December 24th. Go to shopremy.com/pillow and use code PILLOW to receive 55% off your new night guard plus a free foam gift. That's shopremi.com/pillow for 55% off a night guard plus free gift using code PILLOW. Thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode. Okay, so, I had been thinking just personally lately, I've been thinking about trying to ease up on my phone usage, not make the excuse of it's okay for me to zone out. I need a little escapism. So I was wanting to be more conscious about my own usage. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't we do this together as a couple and try a little tech detox? So I'll be totally honest with you guys. We considered a number of different detoxes.
Things that would have more normally fallen under the umbrella of detox.
Different levels of severity. We even considered no phones whatsoever other than, what we need to do for work. So I will say, I think we could have been a little bit braver and really gone for it. But just with the season of life that we're in right now. And also I thought, I don't know if you and I could probably tough our way through it, but I want people listening to this episode to be inspired to try a detox of their own. And I didn't want to do something so extreme that people would think, fuck these guys, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So, I think we kind of reconsidered it a bit where it was like, well, detox is maybe kind of extreme and often people don't do detoxes, whether that, like food, juice detox, even, like drug or alcohol detox. Typically, people don't do that unless they're in a very extreme situation. And so I think we kind of thought, okay, what is it that we are trying to solve here? What is the biggest problem that we see is people saying they don't have time for intimacy. They don't have time for sex. And yet no one's complaining that they don't have time for their phone. And in fact, people are complaining that their partner is spending too much time on their phone, and maybe that's getting in the way of intimacy. So it's like, okay, let's think about this in terms of priorities. Like, let's figure out a way to do something interesting that ensures that we have time for intimacy, right? Where it's almost like, okay, if you want to escape, you got to earn it.
Okay, so here's the challenge that we came up with. We decided to try this for a week. We ended up stretching it on for longer. But we said the rule was no screens before sex. Now, we liked the alliteration of no screens before sex. But
in my head, I was singing it to No Sleep Till Brooklyn by Beastie Boys.
No screens before sex. Okay, but what we decided to do is we don't want to put, the alliteration is nice, but we don't want to put pressure on ourselves that we have to have sex. So we decided to think of it more broadly as intimacy, something that was actually genuinely connecting. It could have been cuddling, it could have been like a heart-to-heart conversation, it could have been making out, but we had to prioritize some form of real intimacy before we were allowed to use our screens. We had to earn our screen time. And so what we decided to do, you know, our schedule is obviously different because we work for ourselves, we work from home, we're entrepreneurs, so sometimes we're working at weird hours or just checking in on things. But what we decided to do is like we set this arbitrary time of 5 p.m. So from 5 p.m. onwards, if we were not allowed to use our phones for fun purposes. If we weren't crazy about this. If something came up at work, if there was a, personal emergency or something like that, like we weren't going to be insane about it.
Yeah, we weren't really counting work stuff. And so, arguably, you might hear this and take it to the extreme and be like, well, you just have to have morning sex because then otherwise you can't go to work. We didn't consider work stuff as screens. That's what we do to earn a living. Mm-hmm. So we didn't include that. And obviously, we made understandable exceptions if there's a work thing. Hey, I'm going to pull out my phone and take care of this work thing. It was more of around 5 o'clock. It's around the time that we generally would like to have an understanding that we're going to be done with work. It was like, okay, cool. Around 5 o'clock, let's assess where we are at. What else do we have to do today in terms of other life stuff? Mm-hmm. And then, at this point in our lives, we have a pretty good idea of what our schedule is each day, and generally when we sit down to like watch TV or whatever. And so it's just an invitation for us to be like, okay, might we want to reconsider the order that we do things in? Or like, should we pause for some intimacy first? Should we earn our screen time?
And so, we don't have kids, so that makes it a lot easier for us to choose a specific time. But I want to say, if you're a parent, one way to adapt this would be once the kids are in bed, then from that time on, it's okay, we're prioritizing intimacy time before phones. I mean,
but you could even take that further. You could be like, okay, once we are home from work or whatever, then it could still be no screens before sex. Obviously, the kids are around, you're doing stuff with the kids, but it's also a great invitation to be like, hey, I'm also going to be fully intentionally there, cooking dinner, being with the kids, like not going to be escaping or, going in the Instagram rabbit hole while the kids are awake. It's a great opportunity to be like, yeah, no, like we gotta earn our screen time later. But until then, let's do all the things that we would otherwise do family-wise, fully intentionally, with full focus. And I think the interesting thing is I think if you try that, you'll find that you are much more open to the idea of intimacy as soon as you get to the point where it's available to you. Because honestly, maybe I'm jumping ahead a little, but like one of the things that I really took away from this is that spending, even if it's just a couple minutes here or there, distracted on my phone, oh, let me watch this video or let me watch a couple reels or whatever, it sucks away like my life energy. Like it unfocuses me. I feel untethered. And then it's like the idea of intimacy is not top of mind. I'm like, I might be thinking about it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel a little like all over the place right now, like not really like focused in on this. And what I found is when I'm not doing that, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, fuck yeah, let's have sex. Like it was just you have more focus on the stuff that's important, whether that's being with your partner, making dinner, hanging out with the kids, being with family, and then you're done with that. Your focus isn't divided again between all these other things. And it's like, oh, what's next on the menu? Intimacy. Boom, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the idea of adjusting it, obviously everybody's schedule is different. Everybody's situation is different. So, you might need to, if you want to try this, you'll need to play around with what's going to work for your unique family and life. But the general idea that we were working with is let's make sure that we put each other before Instagram Reels, before Netflix, before all of our video game playing. We're focusing a lot on our phones, but I think Netflix is a big problem too. It's so easy to zonk out in front of Netflix.
Let's just watch half an hour of Bake Off or whatever.
Like, we're just gonna watch it during dinner, and let's finish this episode. Let's start another episode. Once you get cozy on the couch watching Netflix, it's game over. You're not getting up until it's time to actually go to bed. So I think Netflix can be just as dangerous as phone usage too.
Yeah, and so I think that when you are then, when you are saying, hey, I'm not going to touch this stuff until we have intentional time together, one, you're bringing more energy into the time that you do have together because you haven't lay down, splayed out on the couch and started to zone out. You haven't started scrolling. So you're bringing that energy. Also, the other thing is when you are both committed to doing this together, it feels so good to see your partner. You're like, hey, let's earn our screen time. Let's do, let's have some us time before we start to, zone out, relax. And it feels so good knowing, hey, my partner is prioritizing this just as much as I am. I think that's something that gets missed so much with intimacy, but really with sex in general, is when you get into this place where it's like, the one part, when the assumption of like, okay, well, the partner that's all of a sudden horny has to initiate with the other partner. It doesn't necessarily feel like the other partner cares so much about sex, right? Because it's like, okay, well, I'm horny. My partner is obviously not. They're a little taken aback by me asking if they want to have sex. And you kind of are like, oh, okay, this feels a little weird. Like maybe they're not that into it. But with this idea of no screens before sex, you get to that point where you're like, okay, cool. Like now intimacy is going to be the next natural thing on the priority list before we start the wind down, before we do all the relaxation. And it's like, it feels, I just found it felt so good being like, we were both 100% on the same page. And I found, and I know that you said that, we set it up where it was like the pressure wasn't on to have sex. But what I found, and I think what other people will likely find, is when you bring that, you still have as much energy as possible, given whatever time it is in the day. Because honestly, you're like, I just want to relax for 5 minutes. You never come out of that like, oh yeah, I'm so energized after my 5 minutes of relaxation. No, it takes you further down the relaxation road, right? And so when you have that energy and you have those good vibes of like, hey, we're both prioritizing each other, I found that I wanted to have sex. And I think you found you wanted to have sex. And I think that most people will find that too when you do it this way, even though it's not like, hey, we're required to have sex, you're far more likely to want to because you're both excited that you're prioritizing each other.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that comes up with our screen usage is that we wind up giving each other the scraps that we have left. And you're totally right that screens feel so alluring because it feels like, I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to unwind. But it doesn't actually end up feeling relaxing. You wind up losing track of time. If you're on social media, you often wind up getting all riled up because you get some like creepy conspiracy theory or political post or someone doing rage baity kind of content. So you get yourself riled up. Your brain is literally crashing from having all these dopamine hits. So it just doesn't, you don't feel good afterward. And we keep going to it thinking like, I'm going to feel good. And then we don't feel good. And you wind up giving your partner just the little scraps that you have left. So that was really the intention behind this detox is, what if we take the energy that we do have at the end of the day and focus on giving as much of it as we can to each other first.
Yeah.
It's not that we can never watch Netflix again or never look at Instagram again, but let's just put each other first before that stuff.
And then, surprise, surprise, once you do earn your screen time, it feels really good to be like, hell yeah, I'm going to relax on the couch. Hell yeah, I'm going to give myself permission to mindlessly scroll for 10 minutes. Because I think the other thing is when you are just generally mindlessly scrolling at like 6 p.m., when you know that maybe you should be doing other things, it's like that feeling I used to get. I don't know if other people have this. This was something I really struggled with in college. I had a lot of homework to do for all of my classes, right? I did not have good time management skills. And there was a lot of, I've way better than I did before. But you know, when you're in college, or I'm sure people have this experience in high school too, there's a lot of things that are competing for your attention, right? Friends are doing things, stuff is happening. You can hear it outside of your dorm room. People are having fun. You could go here, you could go there, you could do this, you could do that. And you could also do this pile of homework that you have. I just remember that feeling of constant stress of I would be doing something that I'm like, hey, I'm doing this because I want to have fun or I don't want to miss out. And I'm like, God, I really should be like doing that math homework. I really should be doing that Spanish homework. I really should be doing that whatever, this or that project, right? And it just felt like I was never able to get ahead of that. And I think that's what we're doing in everyday life with this. It's like, oh God, I really should like it would be so nice to spend some time with my partner. Mm-hmm. We haven't had sex in a while. Oh God, I'm just so tired though. I'm going to look at this on my phone for a little bit. And it's just like, you're distracted. You know, you should be doing something else, but you want to do this thing because you want to get that little hit of dopamine that it gives you. Right. And it's just like, it's kind of, you're just putting yourself in the place where you're out of integrity with yourself and who you want to be, what you want to do.
Yeah. So we've already kind of spoiled it and gotten into it, but the end result of the detox is that we had a great time. So much so that we extended it a whole other week, and
we're basically still doing it.
Continuing to do it. Yeah. So for those 2 weeks, even though it wasn't the rule, we did wind up having sex every day, which was really nice. And it brought this really playful energy to when we did have sex. Like we were making all these silly jokes with each other about, like that actually turned into how we initiated with each other. We would say, hey, do you want to go earn our screen time right now? So it just felt really fun and playful, which is important. It didn't feel like this big, heavy rule that we had to do, like, oh God, okay, we got to go do this now. It just felt really silly and lighthearted and gave such a great way to initiate with each other.
Yeah, and it also took the pressure off of either of us for needing to feel like wildly horny in any given moment. Because it's like, oh, hey, no, this is this thing that we want to do together because we want to prioritize this over other things. So let's go to the bedroom or wherever we want to go. And let's together get ourselves into the mood to do that. And I mean, and yeah, you don't have to, if you don't want to have intercourse or sex every single day, then yeah, you don't have to get each other into that mood. You can do something else intimate together. But I think that what we found is that it would be like, okay, well, once we got there, it was like, all right, well, but like really, like what else are we going to do? Like, why not? It's fun. I think it's fun. We're both here. We're here. We're connected. We both want to intentionally be here together. Like, why the fuck not?
And I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes that couples make with their sex life is they think that you have to be horny first to have sex. And that is just so not true. First of all, that's not how one of the two sex drive types works. If you don't know what we're talking about, scroll back a few episodes because we have an entire episode all about the two sex drive types, spontaneous and responsive. You definitely need to know that. But also I want couples to understand that getting each other in the mood is part of the process. We don't have to just sit around waiting to magically be horny out of nowhere.
Yeah, we can make each other horny. Once we know what the other likes, like, why don't we do the things that we know are going to work for the other partner?
But couples waste so many opportunities to connect. And I think women especially are more guilty of this because we are feeling like we're supposed to be turned on. We're supposed to want it so bad. And if we don't, then we can't connect with our partner. But more women, our sex drives don't work that way. Again, go check out that episode that I mentioned.
More women have responsive desire, which all it means is you need something to respond to. So you got to figure out what kind of touch do you like? What kind of other emotional connection do you like that gets you to that point?
Yeah. So for us, knowing that we were prioritizing this first, focusing on connecting with each other, being silly and playful and lighthearted, having more energy, not being all triggered or hyped up by whatever we were watching. That when we were in those moments together feeling connected, then it just naturally felt like it led to like, hey, okay, well, let's go further. Let's do more. So that was really fun and exciting and just made it feel so much easier. And then on the other end of it, I think, we would start our evenings feeling so connected to each other that then we did wind up using our phones less. I mean, we still used our phones. We still watched some Netflix, but it felt like, even this might seem small, but even things like when we were watching Netflix, we'd be sitting next to each other and maybe holding hands or cuddling. We did less of dual screen time of like watching Netflix and we're both on our phones. That is the freaking worst. I think that in and of itself is a great fucking rule to have. One screen at a time. Do not be watching TV and on your phones at the same time, because we do that all the time. And then someone's like, wait, what just happened? Well, we're going to need to rewind it. And then you rewind it and watch it again. And then they still didn't see it because they were still on their phone. And you're like, I'm not rewinding it a second time. You have to pick which screen you're paying attention to. So TV can be fun to watch together, and you can get all cute and cuddle up and cozy. But if you're
that's the point of it. That's why we watch. That's why you watch. You don't watch TV so that you can then bring out another screen and also watch that screen.
But we're so guilty of that.
Oh, I know.
One screen at a time.
More recently, I have been kind of accepting. If I'm going to do that, I'm like, you know what? I'm clearly prioritizing my phone over the TV. So if I miss something, I miss something. But I'm not saying that's right, but I do think it's that acceptance of, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm acknowledging that I'm doing this. I'm not gonna be the dummy that's like, okay, we gotta rewatch that entire episode.
You do that all the time. What did they say? Rewind it. And then I'm like, babe, just let me explain it to you before you start rewinding it, but you already started rewinding it. So that might be the next rule that we have to play around with, one screen at a time.
Okay.
The holiday season is upon us, and if you are looking for a truly meaningful gift, we cannot recommend Storyworth highly enough. So here's how it works. Storyworth gathers your loved ones' memories and puts them together in a gorgeous keepsake book. Your loved one is going to get an email with memory-provoking questions. You get to choose them. They can record it over the phone for Storyworth to transcribe. After a year, Storyworth compiles all these stories and photos into a beautiful book. The photos are printed in vibrant color. This year, they added a bunch of new features to make storytelling even easier and new book designs. Customers love Storyworth. They've printed over 1 million books, preserved 35 million family stories since their founding 13 years ago. They have 48,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. We did it last year for both of my parents, and seriously, like, the experience was so powerful, so meaningful. Our parents absolutely loved it, and we're going to cherish it for generations to come. Give your loved ones a unique keepsake you'll all cherish for years. Storyworth Memoirs. Right now, save $10 or more during their holiday sale when you go to storyworth.com/pillow. That's storyworth.com/pillow to save $10 or more on your order. Here's the sad truth. Most of us spend more time picking a Netflix show than we do being actually present in our relationship.
And yet, research actually shows that your relationship is a bigger predictor of your happiness more than your career or money. but there's never been a clear roadmap to deeper connection and lasting intimacy. Until now.
That's why we built Deeper, our membership for couples who want to feel closer, more connected, and more passionate. If your relationship is in a good place, you'll love the quick wins like brand new date night ideas every month, fun conversation prompts, and even Vanessa AI, your on-demand coach that you can ask anything, anytime.
And if you hit a tougher season, which is totally normal, then Deeper has you covered with our full library of courses and guides so that you can deep dive into exactly what you need most right now. Think communication, connection, desire, pleasure, or exploration. We've got you. It's like having a relationship wellness plan that actually fits into your real life.
It's the membership that we always wished existed for ourselves, something in between expensive therapy and trying to just figure it all out on your own. So whether you just want fresh ideas to keep things exciting or you need more structured tools to get back on track, Deeper meets you where you are. Because your relationship deserves at least as much care as your Netflix queue.
Curious what your deeper journey might look like? Start with the Intimacy Quiz, your key to love that lasts. This quick quiz helps you uncover what your relationship needs most right now. And you might be surprised because most couples get this one wrong. You'll walk away with a personalized roadmap, straight to the point, actionable, and designed to help you reconnect with your partner ASAP. So head on over to vmtherapy.com/5keys. That's the number 5 and then the word keys. Again, it's vmtherapy.com/5keys. And don't worry, we'll also link it in the show notes for you.
Okay, so let's talk about some other boundaries or guidelines that you could have with your phones. This was just the thing that we happened to decide to do. We loved that alliteration of like no screens before sex. It just felt really fun and playful. But of course, there are other things that you could do. And I definitely recommend that every couple does some sort of tech detox. We could all use it.
Yeah, before we get into the other ones, though, I do want to bring up, because I think that a lot of people are going to hear this idea and they're going to be kind of intrigued by it. No screens before sex. But they're also going to feel concerned. They're going to feel kind of like a little bit heartburn where it's like, oh God, but what about this? What about that? And I think that what is going to come up for a lot of people, this is a really good test. If you think about, okay, what would it look like if I put a good faith effort into implementing this in my sex life? If you're feeling like that can't work for you, I have a couple suspicions. I think that probably it indicates that there might be a pleasure problem, an imbalanced pleasure problem in your relationship where it doesn't feel like a great idea to you because you're not sure that one of you, probably the person that's worried about it, you are not sure that you are going to be equally satisfied as your partner with the sex that you're having. I'm guessing that it might indicate there might be a mental load, a serious mental load imbalance in your relationship where it feels like, okay, well, this would be easy for my partner to implement, but it wouldn't be easy for me because I have a list of tasks a mile long. I can't just say, oh, boom, at 5 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, we transition over to, okay, like now let's earn our screen time, right? Like I have this list of things that never ends. And my partner doesn't. They're sitting around watching video games. So how the hell would this actually work, right? Like they're zoned out at 5 o'clock and I'm working my ass off until 9 p.m. That's something that's you're gonna need to look at. Mm-hmm. It might indicate that there's an initiation imbalance or problem. Your partner initiates sex with you, or you initiate sex with your partner. They always say no, or they always initiate with you in a way that doesn't feel good and you don't want to say yes. It indicates there could be a problem with that where it's like, oh, the way that they ask me to have sex just squicks me out. And I'm worried that even my partner saying, hey, let's earn our screen time might feel yucky to me. And so I think that this is a really good test of, have you figured out these fundamental things in your sex life yet? Because if this is giving you heartburn thinking about prioritizing intimacy with your partner before other stuff, I'm guessing that it's a sign that something bigger is in balance or off in your sex life that you absolutely need to and deserve to address.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about some other potential boundaries or guidelines for phone usage that you could have. How about no phones at meal times? or especially no phones at date night. I think that could be just, even if you just do that, no phones at date night, put the freaking phones away.
Yeah, it's a great family rule, and it's a great date night rule.
Yeah. So set yourself up for success with this one. I think you really need to physically move your phone, like put it in another room, turn it off, turn it on silent, because once you hear those little notification dings or you see the screen flash up, like it's just game over. Another idea could be no phones first thing in the morning or right before bed. Honestly, that's really good for your brain. We all should be doing that. I've been doing that lately in the morning and noticing it makes such a big difference for me if I'm not turning over to grab my phone the very first thing before I wake up.
I'm not quite there yet.
No, you're not.
But to be fair, I am also, the very first thing I do on my phone every single morning is check the surf. And I can't do that without my phone without getting in the car and driving 10 minutes. And that still doesn't give me all the answers I need.
Yes, but then you do end up looking at other stuff. It just sucks you in. And then you're starting your morning feeling stressed out and, you've got a million thoughts going through your head already. But when I've found that when I don't look at it first thing in the morning, I just start on such a more peaceful note. And then right before bed, like you really shouldn't be, we all know this. I'm not saying anything new, but we shouldn't be looking at our phones for like an hour before bed. I'm not so great at that, but because I don't really have sleep issues. If I had sleep issues, that'd be the first thing.
I'm really fortunate that it's not causing me problems. If it were to start causing me problems, that's the first thing that I would change. But yeah, I can like feel, I'll be on my phone. I'm like, my eyes can't stay open anymore, fortunately. But also, I think phones automatically do this these days. Fortunately, is like that blue light filter, like, things start to go red later at night, which I do think is really good on your eyes. It's not like it doesn't solve all the problems.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. But yeah, fortunately, I do find personally just that, like, yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't find myself. But then also it's like, I don't go down the type of rabbit holes that tend to like create more activation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another rule: put your phones on airplane mode after 8 p.m. Just take away your access to be able to, get on the internet or anything like that. Specific times without phones or screens. So this could be like some sort of ritualized activity. So maybe you guys always take the dogs on a walk together, or you always sit on the porch and have your morning coffee, or you always go, I can't think of another example. Like a cuddle session.
Go to the grocery store.
10 minutes of cuddles or something like that. But yeah, some sort, if it feels like a ritual, like, oh, this is this thing that we always do. It's a daily activity. Like that can be a nice thing.
You can even program that type of thing into your phone. Like you can schedule like do not disturb time or whatever. So that it's like, hey, between the hours of 12 and 1, never give me a notification. You can absolutely do that.
Okay, one thing that we have done is we try to get a little bit more intentional about announcing or explaining why we're grabbing our phone. So, for example, let's say we're having dinner together and we're talking about something and I just saw a cool article about this. Like I would say, oh, I just saw an article about this. Like, let me pull it up on my phone and I'll read it to you. Because phones and screens can be used for connection. Like there's a lot of cool stuff on the internet. You know?
It can further the conversation, whatever you're talking about.
But just like taking that couple of seconds to explain it to your partner beforehand, that helps them understand, oh, I'm doing this to connect with you. I'm not grabbing my phone because you're boring me, or I'm more interested in what's going on my phone. So that can be super helpful. And then on the flip side, sometimes we try to ask each other for each other's attention before we start talking to them. So I do think this is kind of like this is a bad test that so many of us do on our partners. We'll see that they're on their phone or on their laptop or whatever it is, and we'll start talking to them and ask them to do it just like you did with the shampoo bottle, right? Is we ask them to do something knowing that they're already distracted, and then we get mad at them for not paying attention. And I do think like it's both ways. I do think like I could in that instance where you were asking me, like you weren't setting me up for success in that moment, and I could have been paying more attention to you than being zoned out in the phone. So it's both things. But I think when we can ask for attention ahead of time, that can just be so much better. Like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. Can you put the phone down? Or like, hey, can I get your attention real quick?
Yeah.
Like It's so easy to do. It prevents a lot of bickering and fights. Like, just ask for that attention ahead of time. Similarly, you can make requests for phone-free time. So something that I've done before is, like, let's say we're trying to get out of the house for an appointment. I will ask you, like, hey, we're running a little bit late. We got to get out of the house at this time. Could we do no phones so we make sure we get out of here in time? Or you could do it with the friggin' bathroom with your partner. Like, we got to get out of here. I know you're going to use the bathroom. Can you leave your phone outside the bathroom? I mean, that in and of itself is another good rule. Just like, let's stop bringing our phones in the bathroom. It's so gross.
I don't like that one.
It's so gross to use your phone in the bathroom.
Like, I think the bathroom is a pretty... just a normal thing.
They're covered in fecal matter.
You know, the world is covered in fecal matter. Man, our dogs shit everywhere outside. There's just fecal matter all over the place. Think about all the animals other than humans. We're the only ones that poop in toilets. Those animals, man, that fecal matter, it's everywhere. Talk about conspiracies, man. No one is talking about the fecal matter.
I just think I'm guilty of it too, but I just think it's really gross that we all do it. We should just leave our phones outside of the bathrooms. Also, because then you spend way more time in the bathroom and it's not good for you. Doctors always say 5 minutes or less. If you can't finish your business in under 5 minutes, you got to get up off the toilet. It's not good for your butt.
I can't get up. I'm in the middle of something important.
You got 5 minutes. Okay, so yes, asking ahead of time for, like, you know, specific phone-free time. Or same thing with, like, a date night. Hey, could we have this meal? Could we have this date with 0 phones? Just make those requests ahead of time. A great rule that everyone should have is no phones during serious conversations. Yep. Like, you don't need to pull up an article. You don't need to ask ChatGPT. Like, just don't have any screens out when you're trying to have serious conversations. Yeah, I just think that's a rule that every couple should have. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our tech detox episode. We hope you feel inspired to take some action. I mean, bottom line, we all know that we have bad behaviors with our phones, our screens, our TVs. We all know that we should be making some changes. So I hope this episode inspires you to actually take some action. Start with something that feels small and manageable, maybe one of the tips that we just went over. But I do think maybe working your way up to doing a fuller detox like we did could be really beneficial. Yeah. I definitely recommend trying no screens before sex. It's very fun. Give it a try.
See how it goes. If it brings anything up for you, it's an invitation to address other imbalances in your sex life that are probably not ruining it necessarily, but definitely putting a damper on it. I think that this is real, like, doing this really shines a light on your sex life, and it kind of leaves us with nowhere to hide. And it's like, if there have been things that we've been burying our head in the sand, or we've been putting off having certain discussions, this really exposes it in a way that can be a little scary, but also, like, think about how good it would feel if you were like, hell yeah, we both, like, sex is top of mind. We prioritize it. It is so much more important than all of these other things in our life, because look, I decided to marry this person. I decided to be with this person long term. I'm saying that they are the most important person to me in the world. Why don't I treat them as such? So boom, I'm going to leave it on that mic drop right there.
All right, well, that's all for today's episode of Pillow Talks. Thanks so much for listening. Join us again next week. We release new episodes every Thursday. Boom.
Boom.